What's up YouTube, back at it again with another video today, and today we're going to talk about the top 5 best spawn lures in the springtime. So when the bass move up shallow from that 0 foot to about 10 feet range and up shallow on the beds, I want to talk about the top 5 baits that I use and many others use that are really good for that spring spawn season. That's really gonna work for the bass. So let's get to number 1. So the probably like 3, the first 3 is gonna be, the bottom baits working the bed fish. So when you're up shallow, what you really need is a good polarized glasses. That's the first thing. Polarized glasses is a must-have. I promise you will not have a good time bed fishing if you don't have polarized glasses. So that's the must-have, okay? And so let's get into the first bait. So the first bait, when we say they're in that early pre-spawn, and then you see a couple on beds and they're not quite on beds, my first kind of search bait is a jig. So this is just a 3/8 ounce jig with a little craw as a trailer, and this is a really good little, right before they hit the spawn, even on the beds you can flip the jigs and everything. It's really good, but I kind of like that, like if I'm trying to flip underneath these docks and around these docks fast, and that's a good way. I just like that. It gets underneath the docks, you really work the docks and everything. It's a good kind of quick bottom bait, search bait kind of. But even on the beds, you can still flip in there, and that's really good. But I like before sight fishing and you see bass on the beds, I like to go with a craw. This is a Strike King Rage Craw. This color is actually white. I'll explain why it's white for a reason. So most people throw like green pumpkin, watermelon red, natural colors during the spawn, especially sight fishing. What I like to do is throw like that white or that pink color when I'm sight fishing. I like to see the bait where I'm pitching in around the beds, and then where it's really at around the bass, and see how it's really reacting. And then especially when you're working it and it's like hard visibility in the water. It's like stain color water. If you barely can see it, so that's why I switch up to the white. You use the white or the pink, whatever you prefer. And then when the bass eats it and the white's gone, you know you have the bass. So I like that white and that pink colored craw or soft plastic bait. I like to downsize my craws. I like to use the baby craw again. These are the Rage Baby Craws by Strike King. These are the 3 inches. Usually the regular craws are about almost 5 inches, but I like to downsize this a little bit. Next one is my all-time favorite, and that is going to be a brush hog. This is a Zoom brush hog. This is the baby brush hog. Again, I like to downsize my baits just a little bit, but that Zoom brush hog, that's my go-to. I always have that rigged up. I'm always casting that. Just like this jig, and that right before they spawn, I don't know. I just like quick flip underneath these docks, around the docks, fishing cover with it, kind of quick, but not too slow. But it's a really good bait to use in the spring. And I dip the ends with chartreuse, and then that's a killer. That's probably my all-time fish catching bait right there. Rigged up with I use a 1/8 ounce, or depending on the wind, I can upsize from a 1/8 to a 3/16, and if the wind's blowing a little harder, a 1/4. But I like to stay from that 1/8 to the 3/16 ounce weight with a 4/0 hook. Even with the craws, I do the 1/8 ounce weight with it. With you could put a 3/0, but it's depending. If it's a bigger bass I see on the bed, I'll go with the 4/0, and if it's about mid-range bass, I go with the 3/0. But the 3/0 gives that craw a little bit more action. But the 4/0, I have better hookup ratios with the baby brush hog with a 1/8 ounce weight. And so the next bait, in that early pre-spawn, or not pre-spawn, that early spawn, that pre-spawn going to the spawn, when it's tough, if you have a whole lot of rain or it got cold, or it's just you just having a tough day out there, and you can't get them committed on anything, especially up shallow, move out just about that 15-foot range. And then I like to, like, especially on the rocks or points or like drop offs, I like to throw I like to go finesse. I like to throw this is a shaky head. It's a 3/16 ounce shaky head. That's a Zoom trick worm. I like to throw the 3/16 ounce, or if it's a little windier, a 1/4 ounce shaky head. I like the stand up shaky heads where it's real flat on the heads, just like this. I like that, and then see, it just stands up just like that. Stands up just like that, that flat head on the bottom, on the top, excuse me. That works really good. Or you could throw a Senko. So the Senko is a 5-inch. I like to throw that 5-inch Senko. You can use this on that little, you can finesse it. You throw it on a shaky head, or you throw it on a real light Texas rig. Or it's a good shallow sight fishing tactic too. I caught more fish in that 10 feet range with that lunker log, and a little deeper off the docks with it. But even up shallow, it's a good bait to use, even sight fishing. So anything sight fishing, whether it's a craw, Senko, any type of worm, it's a good sight fishing bait. You know, these are what I have the best luck on, and what most likely up your odds. But you know, you can go with any, you know, you could upsize the brush hog, or you go like a different, like you go with a say like the Guggen. So if you want to go with the Guggen craw, you can throw a Guggen Bandito. You can throw that creature bait. You can mess with the creature baits. Bait number 4, that's pre-spawn going up to that spawn, especially search baits. If the water's a little muddy, or you know, you got a whole bunch of, you know, shoreline to cover, for a search bait, I like to use a swim bait, whether that's a bluegill pattern color swim bait, or a like bull shad color, whether that's like threadfin shad or gizzard shad, any type of those colors, but especially a bluegill. I like to throw bluegill pattern swim baits in the spawn, especially a search bait. You throw it out there quick. If you get bites, you know that in the area, you can switch up and use the bottom baits like a craw or a brush hog, and really key in on them. That's a really good way, even on the beds. If they're not biting on the bottom baits, you can throw this bluegill swim bait by the beds or on the beds, and then sometimes, since it's mimicking a bluegill, sometimes that just makes them react and gets them to bite. You throw, I only throw underspin in the spawn, only if it's muddy water. After the rains and the runoff from all the rain and the spawn, since we get a lot of rain around the springtime, I like to throw a underspin with this is a 3.75 inch ray swimmer, I believe that's what Strike King calls it, or you can use a Kitech, or any of those swim baits work good. I like to throw that 3.7 inch swim bait Or what I really like to do is hook up this swim bait on a belly weighted swim bait hook. So this one here, I believe it's a 1/8 3/16 ounce. I'm not quite sure, but it has a screw lock on, and then what that does, that gives it a natural, more natural fall than with the underspin, in my opinion, and then it gives it a lot better action, and you fish this up shallow, and I've had a lot of luck just doing that with the belly hook or belly weight, and that's a really good search bait too. Anything like the swim baits or the harsh swim bait and the bluegill pattern, where it's good, you throw it in a shad color, or you can throw it in that bluegill color. You can throw it in like a natural color, works really good. But that's where I have my search bait. When I throw my search bait out there, that's what I've had luck on in the previous spawns. And then once I've had bites on that, just like the harsh swim bait, I could really key in on those areas. So those 5 are the best lures I've have used in the spawn, and then gave me a lot of fish catches in the previous spawns, and worked really good for me. And I hope y'all learned a lot from this video, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. And if you liked the video, leave a like, and then if you learned a whole lot from this video, subscribe down below, and then subscribe so you don't miss any more of my content, and stay tuned. I'll see y'all next time.